Well, there we are, another one of Clarky's reviews. And the boots we're going to have a look at, we'll get to them in a minute. I just thought I'd give you a little bit of background into why I bought them. These boots here that I'm cleaning, these are handbag from the Tatra range. And I'm just putting a little bit of wax on, and I should point out that their wax is expensive. It costs about £16 for this small jar. But I've had these boots a couple of years and it's kept them in really good condition. Now you might think, why do I need another pair of boots when I've got these? Well, originally, well I say originally, it still is, these are my normal walking boots, Salomon. And the reason I choose Salomon is that I have very small feet, but they have a nice width here, which is ideal for my size of foot. But I went out in these about 18 months ago, doing a little backpacking trip, and I sank into the bog, and it was horrendous. And the water and the damp came over the top. So I immediately went out and bought some of these. Now you can get boots a lot cheaper than these. These are very popular with like beaters up in Scotland. When I say beaters, people who walk behind the grouse in the grouse shooting areas, and they frighten all the grouse out and somebody takes pot shots at them and knows they hit something. But these seem to be ideal for a wanted, and so far they've proved excellent. But these boots, the Tatra X range, this particular one, weighs about 950 grams. It's quite heavy, very well insulated, really nice for bad weather conditions, and they lace up really well. I was a little bit concerned about these because they've got ball bearings in here that the laces run through, and I thought, well, they're going to get clogged up with mud, but they clean out surprisingly easily and they make pulling the laces up great. But what do we do if we want to go somewhere like into the desert? These are not suitable. Hot climates, your feet are going to be too hot, the boots are heavy, and the last thing you want is heavy boots when you're struggling through sand dunes. So that's why I've ordered the boot that you're looking for me to give some opinion on, and it's just arrived. Now it looks a bit pre-set up this, but I knew the boots were coming today, and I've also known for about 3 weeks that I need to clean the other boots, so that inspired me this morning to get out here and clean these. My wife won't let me in the house to clean boots. Something about polish on the carpet or something, I don't know. But so I'm sat out in the greenhouse, but I knew they were coming today, so I thought I'll get on with these. Well, I've only just started cleaning these and she just shouted out to me, your boots have arrived. So what I'm going to do is I've got to send these back if they're not right. So I don't want to risk anything getting dirty out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the boot cleaning for the minute, and I'm going to take this out into the caravan. Now you might think, why the caravan? Well, my wife has got some friends around at the minute, so they won't take too kindly me prancing around in our living room pretending I'm some sort of great film star or something. So I'm going to take these into the caravan and we're going to carefully open them up and we'll have a look at them. Right, next thing, get this packaging off. Now bearing in mind that I probably will have to send them back because of the sizing, I'm going to be careful with it, and to that end I've brought my glasses because I'm using sharp implements and I'm dangerous with sharp implements. As usual, I've got my first aid kit up there ready for when it's needed. So I'll just get this open and then we'll have a look at the box and we'll go from there. I've got the bag out, the packaging in one piece. Take the glasses off now. better looking without the glasses on, don't you think? Put them over there. Now obviously you know what you're looking at because this is a review. So Altburg, a company based in Richmond, North Yorkshire, England. And anything you want to know about this company is on their website. This is their founder, whose picture's on the front here. And there's a lot of useful information on their video about how to take care of your boots. So the next thing is, will they fit? Now, I have never bought a pair of boots without going in the shop, trying them, walking up and down in them for half an hour. I even go to the extent of making sure I've maybe walked 10 miles before I go in the shop, so that my feet are swollen up like they would be from walking normally. I say swollen up, you know what I mean. They get warm and they expand slightly. But these, it wasn't possible to do that. I rang Altburg and to ask them about these boots. I had previously looked at boots from £45 upwards. I didn't intend to spend quite this much on a pair of boots, but as usual I kept narrowing it down and narrowing it down, and I just ended up with the most expensive pair. The reason that I haven't been able to try them on is because they're hard to get hold of. Altburg themselves have certain stock that they keep at their factory, and I had planned to drive up to their factory, which is about 90 miles from here, and try the boots on and have a little walk around in them. But they do make boots at their factory in Richmond, but a lot of the stock, most of the stock, is made in a factory in Italy, and they supply to a lot of different organisations like the police, the army, and if you can't get to try these on, it's a bit of hit and miss if they're going to fit. One great thing about this boot is they do it in half sizes, and they go from size 3 to size 14. I'm a 6.5, I think. We'll find out in a minute. So there was absolutely no way that I could get to try me on. I rang them up. Yes, they had some boots in, but not in my size, and it's going to be Christmas before they, I say Christmas, they said at the beginning of December, before they get some actually in stock. I need them in December, but also I'm going on a little vacation in 2 weeks' time to the Canary Islands, and I thought it would be a good chance in some hot weather to walk them in before I use them on the next trip in December, which we will come to later in the year. So what did I do? Well, I had to buy them online. If you buy them direct from Altburg, they'll charge you £7 for delivery, and you'll have to pay to send them back. Okay, fair enough. They were also £10 cheaper than where, £10 more expensive at Altburg than where I actually bought them from. So I've bought these online from a company not too far from me called Military Kit. Get that right? Say that again. Military Kit, based near Stockport, near Manchester, England. And they offered free delivery. If it doesn't fit, I have to pay for the return, but that'll be about £5. And it didn't take much working out for me to figure out that if I drove there and asked them to look at a pair, it would cost me about £30 in petrol. So what's in the box? Well, let's have a look. Well, that's interesting. The whole box has got pictures of the history of the company and the characters involved. We've got Military Boots Guide. Yeah, I should point out that these particular boots, they are in their military range, and they've been designed along advice that's been garnered over the years from the British military, who do use these boots in desert situations. Let's see what else we got. little brochure advertising all their other boots. I should point out that these boots actually come in two colours, and this colour here they call beige. Looks very white in the picture, but they didn't have that colour anyway, so I couldn't have had it. Very careful with the packaging. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off for 10-15 minutes and I'm going to give these a real good study, try them on and see what the verdict is. Well, I've had a good look at them, can't see anything obviously wrong or anything to give me concern. In fact, for those of you that have worked with tools before, you probably know the difference between working with tools that you've bought from your local mart or working with a snap-on set of tools. When you pick up a snap-on tool, it feels like quality and you just know it's going to do a good job for you. And these felt very much like that as soon as I picked them up. And I'm comparing them to a £70 pair that my wife had a look at just recently, a few days ago. And I can tell straight away which pair I would have. Yes, these are going to cost me 3 times as much, but I think they're going to do the job. That's if they fit. So that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to pop them on and have a little wander up and down and see what I think. First thing I've noticed is they open up quite wide, making it very easy for you to get your feet in. So I'll slop them in there, slop them in, shall we say slot them in. Yeah, so far so good. Now I'd just like to point out I am using quite a thin pair of socks, and the reason for that is obviously I won't be wearing big thick ones if I'm in hot climates, but I wanted the thinnest pair of socks that I've got because I want to allow to be able to wear very thin ones or slightly thicker ones to give my feet a bit more comfort. So we'll see how it goes. So we'll pull that tight. We've got the securing tabs there. Where are they? Down the bottom. So yeah, initially that feels okay. Let's see, got to fold this loose material in. That's locked in place now, so I can relax about that. Put the hooks around there. Yeah, and around there. He says, making a pig's ear of it. Try again. Yeah, and I have to say the boot's folding in nicely. Won't do any fancy tying knots, we'll just do a quick one to get us on the job. Yeah, and again that feels quite nice, and obviously the size of the opening allows for people with slightly bigger calves than what I've got. Okay, I've got that one on. I'm going to pop the other one on, have a little walk up and down and see what my initial thoughts are. Well, I am shocked. They do actually fit. I've tried a lot of boots on in my time, and I've walked up and down shops, and usually within the first 30 seconds I go, no, no. I actually wandered up and down here for about 10 minutes. Not ideal because I really need to be outside, but if there was something that I wasn't happy with, I need to keep them clean to send them back. that, I'm happy to say, is not going to be the case. So they are light, and just to give you some idea of what you might expect, they actually say in their website brochure, whatever, that they weigh between 545 grams and 745 grams depending on size. Well, I've got a size 6.5 and I've weighed these and they've come in at 576 grams. They feel so light on your feet compared to the handbag boots that I showed you earlier. And another thing that I quite like, just come and take a look inside here. There's very thin material on parts of it which are keeping it light and also helping to stop moisture soaking in and making your feet wet, and gives them a little bit of breathability. But the bits where you're going to probably have the most wear and feel the most discomfort, so around your heel, at the side of your ankles and down along the edge of your feet, they've got some padding, and also in the tongue here, so that feels really comfortable. When I originally just felt these, I thought, feels a bit rough, but no, having put them on, I'm very happy with the comfort aspect of them. So all we've got to do now is take them out into the field and try them for real. Oh, I should point out that the reason there's a problem finding somewhere to try these boots on is because we're in England and there isn't a lot of call for desert boots. Altburg have a lot of outlets in very popular outdoor shops in this country, but none of them will stock this particular boot because there's no market for it here. It's not even waterproof. When I say not waterproof, it is rain resistant, but it is specifically designed to be used in hot climates and desert environments. So that's why the only place that you're likely to find some is actually online through military stockists. So here we are, out testing the boots. We're in Fuerteventura, up in the north, among the sand dunes. It's quite barren terrain, quite deep sandy in places when you come across sand dunes. So, very hot, very dry, good place to give them a go. Now obviously, to try and stop any sand going down the boots, I've got the long trousers on. Very shortly it's going to be quite hot, so I'm probably going to wish I'd got shorts on, but for this type of terrain you want long trousers. And I've come about a couple of miles now, so not far, but so far my feet have been really comfortable. Going up and down the dunes, they're flexing quite nicely. making it comfortable to negotiate the, well, I don't know how to describe it, sort of quicksandy terrain. It's okay when you're on this stuff here, quite firm, but going up and down the dunes is quite a struggle. And unlike the last desert survival video I did, I ended up with shoes full of sand which rubbed against my skin and caused blistering. So far there's nothing in these boots and the feet feel really comfortable. So what we're going to do is we're going to plod on a bit further and see how we go. Altogether we've got to do about 5 miles, and then I think it'll be time to go back to the swimming pool. Right, let's crack on. Oh. As you can see, the boots are keeping the sand out. Well, as you can tell from the clothing change, I'm back in the UK, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on these boots. Firstly, the test. I did about 5 to 6 miles in the desert conditions on 2 separate days, and I also did 1.5 miles walking on paved streets to get to and from my accommodation. There's a little bit on his instructional video where he talks about if the boots get wet inside, and that is more likely to be from condensation from your feet, sweat and that sort of thing. I did have a little bit of that, not too much, and they dried out reasonably quickly back in the apartment, so I didn't have to go maybe to the extremes that he does on his video to dry them out, because we're talking an odd little patch of damp. But it made me think about the socks. What sort of socks should we be wearing with this? Now, I'd taken a reasonably thin pair, but I really don't know a lot about socks. I tend to put them on if they're comfortable, so be it. But I do think a little bit of research in what would be the best sock to wear in this boot in those conditions would be worth doing. Also, I talked about you wearing a thin pair of socks and being able to maybe wear a thicker pair, because one thing you have to think about in the desert is we're thinking hot, aren't we? Sun, sand. In some parts of some deserts it can go down to freezing in the evenings, in the night time. So the boots not only have to look after you in the hot, sunny midday condition, you've got to be able to cope in the cold, freezing conditions, and I think a slightly thicker pair of socks on my little delicate feet might be what's needed. Something else I thought about was the laces. Now, these laces were great. They ran very freely, meant putting the boot on quite easily, and I suddenly thought to myself, what if my lace breaks, wears out, whatever? I want the same laces. So I contacted Altburg and I asked them if they did provide laces, replacement laces for their range of boots, and they do. They said they don't advertise them on their website, but you can ring them and they will, for a price obviously, supply you with a replacement set of laces if you require them. It might be always worth getting a pair and just keeping them for when the time comes, because you never know when you're going to damage your laces, or walking through rough terrain, you know, you can easily get some sharp stones, rip your laces. So yeah, I'd say get a spare pair. And as for the rest of the trip, it was great. The really comfortable, got no complaints whatsoever. Got a lot more testing to do come January and February, and I've just cleaned the boots. This one, I followed the procedure as demonstrated on Altburg's website. I've been using Altburg's kit to do it with, and this one, which has been resprayed with the Lederbock, which I've got here, is just almost dried out, and it looks virtually like it was when it came out of the box. This one, as you can see, is a little bit scuffed and got sand and grit in all the little joints and everything. So we're going to do that one next, and they'll go away until the next time I need them. And should I give them a score out of 10? Well, I'm not really going to do that, because boots are a personal thing, and what I might score as a 9 might be somebody else's 8. But all I can say is that if I need some boots to go to the desert, then these are the ones. I'm happy with these.